Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez.
I'm Hillary Rodriguez.
And today we are going to be reviewing Everdell. This game was published in 2018 by Starling Games. It's designed by James Wilson, with art by Andrew Bosley, Cody Jones, and Dan May.
It's a 1 to 4 player game. It's for ages 10 and up, and they say it plays in 40 to 80 minutes, which I think is pretty accurate for the game plays that we did.
I agree. Right now, as we record this anyway, it is at the number 40 hottest game of all the games on BGG. So this is very well liked. People have been talking about it for years, but we only just played it recently.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
We did have this for a while at the convention that we went to back in August. We picked up My Little Everdell and played that with our middle child, and so that kind of encouraged us to play this version. And since we have played both versions, we're going to do a little bit of comparisons throughout this video, and we did also do a separate review on My Little Everdell, so you can check that out too.
Yep, my plan is for the two reviews to come out pretty close to each other, so if you don't see the review for My Little Everdell yet and are curious, it'll probably be out within a day or two, because I'm going to get them all edited and ready before I even publish, so, but I just don't have them come out at the exact same time, so, but it'll be out there soon. Again, if it's not already, I'm not sure what order I'm going to put these out in. We'll see what happens. I could do it little, and then it's aged to, we'll see what happens.
So the artwork in this game is very well done. The main artist does both games. This one is a little bit darker in some of the cards. You know, I kind of mentioned this in the other review, but like they are kind of realistic animals, but they're doing human stuff. So it kind of reminds me of some of the cartoons that we probably grew up with, like Five Goes West and Secret of the Nins. Where, you know, it's animals doing humanistic things, but the artwork is a lot more realistic and artsy. My Little Everdell kind of reminds me of cartoons that we grew up with, where the main Everdell kind of reminds me of movies, where it's just a little bit darker undertones throughout the game.
Yeah, remember when movies for kids were designed to traumatize us?
Yes.
Wow. Hey, folks. Did you see the Neverending Story? How's the therapy going? Good? Have you forgotten about the horse? Oh, God. Sorry. Anyway, it is not that dark. It never gets ugly. It's not a gloomy. There's just some, you know, it's got a graveyard. Somebody's got to be the Undertaker of the graveyard, etc. But yeah, a little less bright and cheerful in some of the cards than in My Little Everdell. But there are also some that are very bright and cheerful in this game too. So it just runs the gamut, just like life, because these animals are living a sort of humanish existence in their little forest city. But yeah, I really like the art too. I'm getting way off track in this crazy tangent. I really like art too. I mean, it is gorgeous. It just feels much like My Little Everdell, feels just very serene to me. Like something about it. Just looking at the artwork, it just kind of puts me at peace. It seems like a very chill kind of animal community you've got going here. Nobody's eating each other, even though they're all sort of wild animals. Are they wild still? I don't know. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I think the components are awesome. Much like in My Little Everdell, you have for your resources, you got like the pink squishy fruit, you've got the kind of orange or yellow crystal resin, plastic logs for the wood, and little like smooth gray plastic stones. Really, really pretty. One thing that Big Everdell doesn't have that Little Everdell does, and I wish it did, is in My Little Everdell, it comes with these cardboard like crates you put together that you can put your resources into. Whereas in Everdell, there's just these areas on the board you're supposed to put them, and that is a freaking mess. It is a disaster. I mean, especially the berries will just go rolling all over the place, and there doesn't seem to be enough room for them, really. If you're gonna, I mean, we just didn't use all of them after a point, because it's kind of silly. You can always grab for more, but yeah, there's not a good way to contain them if you're trying to do it thematically and have it on the spots on the board. It just doesn't, it's not ideal, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. My other kind of minor complaint has to do with the board and the resources too, where like there's one spot where the stones are at, but the location that you go to collect the stones doesn't quite match up. So, but then there's another spot that's right next to there that doesn't collect a resource. So they could have very easily just swapped those icons out, and it would have visually made more sense.
Yeah, that's true. Regular Everdell has this big cardboard tree put together that has like some spaces for various things in the game. And I know a lot of people just decide to not use that after a point because, especially if you're all sitting around a table, it's going to block off the view for a lot of people. Like if you're like us two players, and you're sitting side by side, not as big an issue. But once you start adding players, that thing's going to be blocking someone's view of something. There's just no way around it. So I kind of understand that. I wish there was markings like on the board in case you wanted to go that route to cover some of the things that are on the tree, but there's not.
Yeah. And the main icons on the tree that you're going to be using is the very top layer of the tree. And so you could probably lay that down next to the board and still use that. But there are, some of like the goal cards typically are on top of the tree. So yeah, but not too big a deal. Otherwise, I don't think use it or don't, depending on your situation. I think it looks cool. It looks nice, but yeah, it's got its issues. Yeah.
But other than that, I really have no serious complaints about this. There actually is one thing though that I wish I could have done a little different. So it is a worker placement game, and so as you may know from a lot of other worker placement games, a lot of the spots can only have one worker there. So if someone goes there before you, you're not going to get to do that turn, which is fine. They do have open spots where more than one person can go. And so the spots that are closed where only one person can go, it's like an oval. And then the ones where more than one person can go, it's like an oval, but it's not quite complete.
Yeah, it's not like a sideways C.
Yeah, and to me, honestly, like I almost never thought about the fact that some of those are open as we played, because they look very similar, and I just kind of forget that that's even a thing. So I wish they could make those look a little different in some more meaningful way. Yeah, personally.
No, I agree. I didn't like. There was definitely times where I had to kind of really look closely at the board to see if it was a spot that I could also go to or not. Most of them are closed off to just one person, so it's I feel like eventually you just kind of remember which spots are open spots, but for especially as you're learning the game or if you're bringing on new people to play the game, that can be a little confusing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the theme for this game is you're trying to build a town for these various animals. Each person's kind of building their own town. You have a certain amount of cards that you could play out that could be part of your town, whether they're places or animals. And there's various kinds of goals you could be going for, but overall you're just trying to make your town thrive, I guess you could say, in the game. And I feel like it really captures this pretty well. Like there would be things that kind of popped up just because the combination of cards I had off of that kind of made for like a fun little story. Like I started a game where it's like, oh, I've got like a graveyard and a hotel, like come stay in our hotel. You probably won't leave.
The neighbors are quiet.
The neighbors are very quiet. Join them. Yeah, but weird little things like that. See, we went kind of dark, but little kind of stories can kind of come of the cards you put out. Not necessarily, but sometimes you get some kind of cool stuff, and I feel like the theme is there. It's well integrated, but if you're not a theme person, you can also ignore it and just go based on like figuring out what's going to be the most useful thing in a given for your game. You can kind of take it either way, and it works well fine.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the theme is kind of really falls within the cards themselves, because like you have characters that work really well with certain places, or like you can even place the character card out for free if you have the location that matches with them. So like the farmer and the wife, if you have the farm, and so that. So the theme is kind of there. It makes like the animal and the location that they pair up together makes sense. There are some unique locations and unique characters that you can only have one in each town, but then you could have like a farmer, you can have multiple farmers.
Right exactly. A decent implementation of theme overall, I think. So
overall, I really enjoyed this game. I would say as far as like the weight of the game, it's kind of on the lighter medium weight scale. So, it's not really, there's definitely decisions, but it's not super brain burny. Where it kind of runs into that just a little bit is the very last round. But then, I think for the most part, a lot of this game is gonna look a little bit beyond of luck of the card, because you do have cards that kind of play off of each other. You do have those gold cards, so there might be some stuff that you're trying to achieve. It's only a 4-round game, and so there's just gonna be times where you can't achieve what you want to do in the amount of time that you have, and so that can be a little bit frustrating. But I think overall, like, it has a pretty good balance, and it's pretty easy to switch from, okay, I'm gonna switch your goals while you're playing.
Yeah. I do think the only thing really that I would say is a negative on this game is that those goals that come out are often things like you need to have like this person and this place or whatever, and so you might get the person but you never get the place, or vice versa, or you get the person, someone else gets the place, and neither one of you really can get it done, but you're all hoping to, but maybe you can't. Like, there's goals that are in this game that just might not ever be possible, which is kind of a bummer. And I think that the main thing is don't plan your whole game around just getting those. I mean, they're worth a good amount of points, but they're not. I mean, there's plenty of ways to get points, so it's not like a huge issue. But that's really the only real negative I have. Otherwise, just putting your town together. I don't know. I come off of this game just feeling like really good and be like, oh, that was so cool. I had a little cute things, and I don't know. Like, it gives me good feelings. I mean, I know it's kind of vague, but it really is. I mean, I think because of how serene it is, and that you're building up something, and that those things work off each other, and when you get something that works off each other well, like, you feel clever.
Yeah.
I like that. It's very nice. It just makes you feel good.
And it's like, I think because like there's definitely games, it's not. There's worker placement games where like you get like a secret goal, and like if you don't achieve your goal in those games, I feel very discouraged. Where with these, it's like all the goals are out, so everybody knows what the goals are. And I feel like in this game, it's not, the goals are there kind of as an added bonus. If you get it, it's cool, but it's not really there to drive you in what you're supposed to do in the game.
Right.
My little Everdell, however, I feel like the goal cards kind of do help drive you in what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It helps really focus you on, like, okay, like, I got all my places, now I need to focus on getting all my animals, or I need to get this icon to finish this goal.
I think it's a lot better for kids.
Yeah,
personally,
I do too. So but there is a little bit of that frustration, like if you're trying to, and something's just in the cards that you're dealt at the beginning of the game, you might be like, oh, well, like, I got this card, so, like, it'd be really cool if I can get this card to complement it, and that card just might not ever come out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
So overall, I'm going to give this game an 8. I really enjoy this game. Really, my main drawbacks to this game is that because it is only 4 rounds, sometimes it feels like you don't have enough time to get everything done that you're trying to get done, which I know that's part of the game, but that can lead to frustration on my part. The other part is because there's so many cards and the difference in the gold cards being different each time. Like, I think luck, there's a lot more luck involved in this game. You can kind of minimize your luck a little bit, but there is definitely times where, like, you need a very specific card to try and accomplish what you're trying to do, and that card may never come out. So that kind of thing can get me a little frustrated with a game like this, and so for that, I'm giving it an 8.
Well, you and I are really on the same wavelength a lot lately, I'm noticing. I've been thinking about this all day, trying to go back and forth between an 8 and a 9. Because on one hand, as I'm playing this game and when I'm done with this game, I'm always like, wow, that was really fantastic. I like it. But this very same thing you mentioned with, like, some of these goals are not going to be reachable. That bothers me a little bit. If this game was a lot longer, it bothers me a lot more. But it's still kind of there. Like, I don't mind having these, different goals, and some of them might be more challenging than others. But it is kind of a bummer that some you just might not be able to reach. Like, it's literally not in the cards for you. You're not going to be able to do it. And that's kind of a bummer. And I don't know if any of the expansions change that in any way. They might. I don't know what they do. But again, not really a major drawback because of the length of the game. It's not a huge issue for me, but it does keep it from getting to that 9 level for me, I think. You know, as time goes on, with expansions, that might alter my thoughts on this game in some way. But just reviewing the base game, I think it's an 8, which is still a damn fine score.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That is 2 8s from us. No split ratings like I did on my little Everdell, which is nice. In coming days here, we're going to be reviewing the Grand Archive trading card game, and then we'll have a video where we kind of compare that to Lorcana, which I've already done a review for. And then springing from that, we're going to compare whichever one comes out ahead in that one, or maybe both of them, to Magic the Gathering. But that's kind of a long-term thing. That's just going to be kind of going on as we go through other board game reviews. So we're going to figure out what we're going to review next. If you've watched the My Little Everdell, you may have an idea of where we're leaning. If you haven't, then you should go watch that so you know which way we're leaning. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time we put out a video. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you all around the table again at All Games New and Old.
Bye.
Bye. We should say, hey, if your kid comes near this game, just smack their hand away. I'm kidding. Don't do that. What I ought to do is take all the Marvel United and just put that in one of the tubs and be like, this is our United tub. When we go to Marvel United, we go to this tub.
Yeah.
And that'll clear up like 5 shelves. So, you know. So that's Storage Talk with All Games New and Old. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hey, look, I didn't get like the third one, which is like the multiverse Marvel United.
Yet.
Restraint. Willpower. I don't have any of those.
I was gonna say how many weeks will we have that game?
Hey, you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like it, share it, and click this button to subscribe. If you like that one, you might also like this one.
Or this one.
I cannot believe what I did in that one. Holy cow.
I can.
Of course you can. All right. Anyway, we'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.